we just conclude the meditation. Gently rub your palms and fingers. Pass the energy over the face. Raise your hands. Take a deep breath. Exhaling, bring your hands down. Thank you all for joining this meditation. And once again, a warm welcome to all the participants. As many of you are aware, that Saturday is an important day in our daily group meditation by the Digital Solutions. Because on that day, apart from the usual Kaya Kalpa meditation, and we always invite some person who's closely associated with Vedantini Maharishi's principles and has lived it. And we then hear the experiences which will boost our spirituality further. And today, we are very fortunate to have Ramya Muthumanikam. She is, of course, outstanding in her professional career, but at the same time, she is having a beautiful balance in the family as well as doing social service in Vancouver Meditation Center. She plays a very important role there in Canada. And today she is talking on an important topic called thought analysis. How do we deal with mind? We all say that the mind is a monkey, it's not under control. Okay. But Maharishi says the mind is the most powerful thing. All you have to do is to know how to deal with that. Okay, then it will not be a monkey, it will be a key for everything. Okay, now let us hand it over to Ramyaji to elucidate on this beautiful topic. Over to you, madam. You got to unmute it, yeah.
And thanks for this opportunity to meet all of you in person or like virtually in person to share my understanding and knowledge related to the topics that I have been trying to practice, which I gained by putting into practice of Vedantini Maharishi's words. And today I'm just going to talk about an intricate topic within thought analysis, which is nothing but the memory. So when we say memory, everybody would have positive and negative understanding related to what has happened in the past. And we also have some idea of what is going to happen in the future because of what has happened in the past. So we predict the future with certain ideas that has already happened in the past. So this is what we say as memory. So when we go detail about memory, I just wanted to take a minute of silence and I will give some instructions for the team. So you just write down or bring out list out all the things that comes to your mind after that 1 minute. Okay, so you'll take a 1 minute of silence. And after that 1 minute of silence, whatever thought that comes into your mind, just make sure you note it down with any, like list it down in your phone or anything that is next to you, or you can just list it down in your brain itself. So we'll go in for a minute of silence and then we will take the lessons further. We'll take in a minute of silence.
Any issue? Any problem?
So we are in silence, sir, for a minute.
Yeah, but no, it's okay. Why the slide is not moving?
Yes, sir. We are in silence, practicing silence. Then it will move. It's also in silence.
Now we'll break down. So, the first thought I would like to explain what was popping up in my mind. I just wanted to see what was your experience as well. So if anybody wants to share your experience of this 1 minute of silence, what came up to your mind and how did you answer those chain of reactions and those thoughts? Would anybody like to share your experience?
Dear participants, you can just write in the chat box.
Yeah, I'll make it a bit louder.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Anybody sharing your thoughts? We'll get into the session. So this 1 minute of silence would have given you because you'd be wondering what's going on with the session. So this 1 minute of silence, whenever I keep myself or try to keep myself calm, or when I want to pacify myself, saying like, okay, I don't have to think anything, I'm good. So the next moment, mind is like a strange thing. It pops in some other thought. Okay, when I'm in this session, the first thought that would have come to me is like, will I be able to do this presentation today? Will I be able to answer all the questions that the participants are going to ask me? So this particular thought, when it comes into my mind, I start adding more strength to the thought. Okay, will I be able to answer? Did I practice well? Did I do meditation well? So this will be the first follow thoughts that I'm going to strengthen this first thought that I came to my mind. Or I could have said like, oh, I'm going to be very good. I'm going to be very smart. I'm going to present it well. This is going to be another set of thought that I can strengthen that first thought that came to my mind. So similarly, any first thought that comes to your mind, we will be able to add more value based on the present state of mind that we have, right? Similarly, so this can be a chain reaction of thought that can lead to overthinking, or that can lead to multiple thinking that can enhance your thought process and like it'll add more strength to the thought that it at first popped in. Okay, so we should know when to control the first thought and how to address that first thought so that we will stop thinking it. So that will happen only when we are able to handle the emotional factors and emotional quotient related to the past memory that we had. For example, in the past, when I have not done a presentation well, immediately that emotion will crop in saying like, oh, you were very bad, you cried, you wept after the presentation, so many people scolded you after the presentation. So this bad memory that I stored in my brain would creep in immediately because I have not addressed the emotional factor at any point in time. I still value that emotional factor that I had a bad experience on a presentation. The bad experience on the past is just to say like, okay, I had some presentation skills that was not equivalent to the audience or to the expectation of my trainer or anybody in that floor. So that is where that I had a review that was not convincing me or not making me happy, in spite of the hard work that I had put in. So this is where that experience should be valued in a way that leaving out the emotional factor, like I cried, I wept, I was so shivering. I had so much of emotional factor when I presented that presentation on the stage, and I broke in between. So we are trying to carry that memory every time when I think of a presentation. So we should know to handle that memory and eliminate the emotional factor. Okay, that was the learning. I had an opportunity to present it like some years ago to a wider audience. I was able to present it. I was able to prepare well. In spite of it, I was not able to meet the expectation of the audience. So today, I should understand what is the expectation that my audiences are going to have when I start my presentation. So every time I'm going to convince myself, okay, I'm going to present it today. I understand that what my presenters are looking up for, or my audience is looking up for. As a presenter, I'm going to be able to at least meet the expectation of my audience. So these are the way that I handle the emotional memory that has happened in the past. If I don't address the emotional factor and I carry that memory every time when I think about presentation, it is like locking my own self into the jail, which has brutally handled me in the past. So I'm just going to put myself into the same room, lock myself into the same room, and re-slash me with the same beatings that I had in the past. That is even more worse than that is happening again. For example, if I am doing a bad presentation today, that is even more bad, or that mental trauma that I'm going to experience in the real life is even more lighter than the mental trauma that I'm going to experience by reliving the moment in the past. So the memory, so we are trying to hold on. So the first or the foremost thing when we talk about meditation and yoga is about setting ourselves free from pleasure, setting ourselves free from materialistic attractions. But after setting ourselves from materialistic attachments, we should set ourselves free from memory attachments, because we start to hold a lot of memories. We start to uh, relive the moment. We start to relive the same trauma that has happened in the past, whether it's good or bad. We are trying to hold our plate of memory, like a plate of brain. Like this is, our brain is considered to be a plate. It is already filled with so much of memory. Okay. Then how will we be able to live the current moment? We will not be able to receive anything. The plate is completely full. It is similar to that. So that is where we are going to discuss today. I have some more information related to how this negative memory is going to impact us. So one of the key challenge with respect to negative memory is we don't forgive our own self as well as the people in front of us. When we are not able to forgive our people outside as well as people inside, then we will not be able to set ourselves free from that negative memory. So for example, I had a good friend. And that good friend, I lived with a good friend. I had good memories about the friend for almost 5-10 years. And at certain point, I have some issues with the friend, and I'm having a big fight. And it is going on for years, like 1.5 years. We're not talking to each other. I'm not able to communicate to the friend. The friend is using some abusive words on me, and all this trauma happens. Over a period, like I lived with the friend for 10 years in a good fashion, and 1 full year of fight. And then 11th year onwards, I delete all the physical information related to the friend. But the memory related to that friend has never been deleted, because I have not done a logical closure in my brain saying, okay, I had a friend. The situation happened because both of us were immature at that time. We were not able to handle that moment. Both of them had a lot of things to go ahead, and 1 year of trauma. And I have a good learning from that incident. And now I know how to handle just in case if the similar situation occurs in the future. So this logical closure in the brain will help you set our soul free from that memory or that hindrance, to say that, okay, that we'll be able to still relive the happy moments that we had with that friend for the last 10 years. Not only holding up that 1 year of problem. So this is happening with us in our regular life. When we say like, my husband did this to me, my wife did this to me, so I'm not able to forgive them. We're trying to relive the same moment and again, and have relive the same traumatic experience that we are trying to face every day. So unless we set our soul free from those emotional traumas, we will not be able to come to a calm state of mind. So the impact on personal development. So one of the biggest challenges that I see is when I'm holding to those emotional factors, I'm not able to understand what was the reason behind the trauma that I undergone. For example, my bad presentation. When I really remember that I was scolded by my teacher. I was not happy. I was sad. I cried. Only when I remember only the emotional quotient of that problem, I would not understand what I have to do when I am going to prepare for a new presentation. What was the problem? How I'm going to address it? So that kind of constructive informations will never come to our brain, because we are held up. Our soul is still locked up in the same idea of like, I went through a pain. I went through pain. After the pain, there was a learning. So the focus towards that is missed. So when the focus towards that is missed, we are not able to develop ourselves personally and enhance the skill that caused us the problem that happened in the past. For example, the first time I meet a new person, I would not be able to communicate or conversate to them very well. But when I understand that I have a problem, that I have a problem in talking to strangers, I just sit calmly and understand, okay, I'm having a struggle meeting a stranger. What are the questions I should ask a stranger? How should I enhance my skill? So my profession is always giving me an opportunity to meet strangers only. So have I sorted that problem? How am I going to ask the questions? How am I going to enhance the skills? How am I going to share all this information is upfront? So these kind of constructed development will be blocked because we are still holding on to the trauma of like, okay, my hands will be wet when I meet a stranger. I'll be sweating when a stranger asks me this question. So all this kind of emotional factors will keep us still present into the same thought process, blocking a personal development. And one of the recent experience that I had, or speaking to one person is like, the person is very intellectual, is very, very intellectual. And the person, according to me, the person should have reached a very good position in an organization. They have a lot of skills. They are very much experienced as well. But I see them, they are always 1 or 2 level above their knowledge level. They have not reached the high grade in their organization. Neither they have achieved what they wanted in their personal life, or they are in the physique as well, they're not as much as of healthy. The reason when I got to learn from them is like when I speak with them over a period of time, I understand that they had a very painful childhood. Like they were not being heard by their parents. The parents didn't pay much attention, so their emotions were not properly addressed. So the child was growing up in an unaddressed fashion. So that kind of emotional trauma was still held very strong with that person. So even that person is 40 now, when I meet the person, when I tell them like, how's your mother? They start with a positive tone. Yeah, yes, I'm very happy with my mother. I'm very happy with my father. But after a few minutes, when I say like, oh, my mother didn't support me when I was this, so I didn't learn soccer when I was a small child. I didn't learn or communicate well when I was a child because my mom didn't help me grow this way. She was focusing on the other children in the house. So the person was still holding to the childhood trauma. This happened because the mother was going through something. She had multiple children in the family. She had she was more responsible. She was working. She didn't have much time to focus on each side's emotional quotient because the mother was also not emotionally supported in the family. But the child who's growing in the family, even at the age of 40, didn't understand that he has to let go the trauma and start understanding what he needs today so he can reach the next level. If he has evaluated him in that fashion, he would have understood that leaving out those emotional factors will help him grow at that point in time. So this is one of the factors that our Kundalini Yoga is going to help us. So understanding oneself, what we have gone through, transforming ourselves. So one of the best thing that I'm going to talk about through Kundalini Yoga is self-healing and personal development. So we are getting to our routine, like waking up early in the morning, manifesting that like, okay, yes, today is going to be a good day, and breathing exercises. What the 40 minutes that we spend in our exercises is going to be a much value. And when we feel stressful, relaxation, that will in the word in the same sound of Vedadri Magarithi is going to be the best thing that it can help us solve all this. And our introspection sections that we have is one of the best self-healing techniques that I had ever seen, because I have seen people coming to us saying like, okay, I had this problem. But once we sit calmly and understand the problem is not outside, the problem is within ourselves, because we are able to we are trying to react to all the situations. Sometimes staying calm, non-reactive to the situation, help us cope with the problems that we have, rather than just reacting to the situation. So these kind of understanding will be developed only when we have the power of introspection, or know the power of introspection. And mindfulness and releases, we know the mudras that encourages us. So I'm just trying to emphasize that we read the book of mudras and also get these mudras understanding from our trainers. So it will be more encouraging to understand or physically do something when we are stressful. So the mudras, every mudra has some significances. So when somebody feels like I'm stressed out or I'm not able to handle a situation, so the mudras will be actually the first remedy that we can look in forward as well. And thank you so much. So I hope I was able to communicate what I had in this intricate idea of memory, and we'll be able to self-heal and build a positive future for all of us. Bye, hello, thank you.
Thank you, Ramya Muthumanikam, for your excellent speech on the topic memory thought analysis. Dear friends, now it's discussion time. All of you who want to discuss, please raise your hand. We will unmute you. We will discuss. Ramya Muthumanikam is here to answer your questions.
In fact, in the chat box, if you see, some Mahadevi and other people have given their things you may go through, and maybe you would like to react on that.
Yeah. So it's not only Mahadevi. I think this could have been the thought process for many of us, because that 1 minute of silence, we don't take it for ourselves. We still feel like we are the only person who has to fix all the broken pieces in the family. So no, everybody has their own responsibility to play in the family. It's not only the women or the mother in the family is going to fix all the broken pieces in the family. First, understand that. A husband and a wife, grandparent, and the children in the family. Every single people in the family who lives or shares the same shelter has a responsibility for the family. So your professional fear, your personal fear, your husband, your health, everything is unclear only when the mind is so disturbed. When the mind is calm, we'll be able to understand, okay, I have a body weight. Am I doing exercises regularly? Do I get that 40 minutes? Why am I not getting that 40 minutes? Do I have to spend that 40 minutes every day on exercise, or one day exercise and one day meditation? Because I am a working professional. I start my day around 5 o'clock every day, but I don't get, sometimes I feel like I wanted to sleep an extra 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I wake up 5:30, so I don't get the full 1 hour for my exercise. So what I do is, okay, today I've sacrificed like 20 minutes on extra sleep. So I do only exercise in the morning. So I don't get to meditate. So when do I get to meditate? I do Nityananda Dava when I travel. So that day I make sure I take a commute or do a carpooling with somebody, so that I get that 40 minutes, at least 10 minutes for me to do Nityananda Dava. So at least I'll be able to revive. So I lost my energy. The sleep that I had in the previous night was not sufficient. So I just get to understand what's going on with my own self. So it's nobody from an external person can come and heal us. We can give you 10 techniques to say like, okay, these 10 techniques are going to work. But no, every individual will have their own techniques, and we have to find our own techniques. There'll be a 11th technique that's going to work out for you, which I'm not aware. So thinking about a problem that's going to come in the future will never solve the problem, because we are just trying to add more and more strength to the problem. We are not adding more and more strength to the solution. When we think about the problem, we are adding more and more strength to the problem, and the frequency and the occurrence of the problem is going to be more high, or it's going to be at its peak, because it has gotten all the strength from us. That thought and the bad position that we are thinking about, it now has the full energy. Where did we get the energy? Because we constantly think about it. I lost my job. I lost my father. Everybody are going through the similar kind of a trauma at the age when they are supposed to face it. Because we are not one person living in this world. There are millions and millions of people living in the world. So the pattern could be repetitive. So when I say like, okay, I don't have job, what would be my financial status? Yes. What are the other ways I have to find it? Do I constantly apply? Because when I constantly worry that I don't have a job, what happens is like I don't look forward to see, okay, when I meet a person, is that person is a person is working in a company. So is that person is going to be of any help? So I will not understand what's in forward for me. Might be this could be a time where I can self-groom myself. Take the 40 minutes to fix all the body, take that 4 months or 5 months of break to fix my body problem, my physical problems. Like I have some pain, so I can fix it. Or spend additional time with my family. Or we gain any skill that I have not learned in the past that still holds true of childhood trauma. For example, my mom used to force me to learn tailoring. I have never learned tailoring because I was not so passionate about it. But I could use this time for learning it, right? Because I don't know tailoring, I'm wearing loose clothes in Canada. So these kind of stuff is where we have to foresee and think and keep ourselves engaged rather than overthinking. So these are simple techniques, what I have gone through, but you will be exploring more when you're able to understand yourself.
Anyone else? Professor Balachandran?
Yeah. Thank you, Ramya Madam. It was a very excellent discussion and your presentation. And you gave a very good answer, or that thoughts keep coming to us, and when we keep worrying about it, there's no solution at all. But can you analyze it? Okay, look at it objectively and find out what's the solution. Then life becomes much easier. So, very simple but powerful technique. I hope all of us can put it into practice and make our life, we ourselves are making our life as a hell. It could be made a heaven. It all depends on whether you're ruminating over thought or analyzing the thought. It's a big difference. Thank you very much. Yes. Over to
So-
Bharati, madam. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Balachandran. Dear friends, let's all come to meditative state now. Let's bless. Ramya Muthumanikam. Ramya Muthumanikam, be blessed by the divine. Her family, be blessed by the divine. Her present and future endeavors, be blessed by the divine. Now, let's all bless Professor Balachandran. Professor Balachandran, be blessed by the divine. His family, be blessed by the divine. His present and future endeavors, be blessed by the divine. Thank you all, dear participants.
Bharati madam for very nice arrangements. So, Professor Bharati, be blessed by the divine. Her health, be blessed by the divine. Her spiritual service, be blessed by the divine. Over to Bharati.
Thank you. Dear friends, I have some announcements to be made. We have foundation course being conducted twice a month, that is 1st and 16th of every month. Also, Kayakalpa being conducted on 2nd Sunday of every month. To know more information on Sky Yoga, you can also log on to www.kundaliniyoga.edu.in. Dear friends, apart from Saturdays, which is a special day to hear about speeches on Vedatriyam, we are having daily classes, online classes, that is, we are having meditation followed by thought for the day from the book Blossoms of Life, authored by our Guru. The timing is morning 6 a.m. in evening 6:30 p.m. sharp, Indian Standard Time. Please do join your friends and relatives, and we will make others also to enjoy the bliss as we are all. Thank you, dear friends. Professor Balachandran, shall we conclude or?
Yeah, sure. We can close the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramya Muthumanikam, once again for an excellent speech. And thank you, participants. Thank you, Professor Balachandran. Thank for your continued guidance. Thank you all. We will meet again with another interesting speech on Vedadriyam next Saturday. Be blessed by the divine.